A lot of people might say that this BMW is an old piece of shit. Fuck those people. For my personal logbook. I'm filming this in the autumn of 2015. My partners have summoned me to Moscow to work on a special project. We'll see what comes out of that. I've sold my Toyota Crown, and I've bought myself a Beamer. I was going to do some work on it, but I have to bounce, so I'm leaving it at the shop. I've asked the guys to do a couple of things to the cabin, paint some panels. They might work on the suspension a bit too. I'm going home for now, but mark my words, I will be back in a little while, and I will finish working on this monstrosity. We've come here to film a review. This old couple is having a nice time out here, and I'm like, why don't you come join us for a drink? He ended up drinking about 2 liters of beer. Anyway, the story continues. We're about to tell you what we've done to our Kraken, and what still lies ahead, obviously. Come on over, people, take a seat, grab some tea. Or coffee if you prefer. Don't be afraid to come a bit closer. It's been 18 months, and here I am back in my favorite city. So what has been done in the past 18 months? While I was missing, my friends gave this car a lovely paint job. They've given the interior a complete makeover, completely refurnished it and swapped out a bunch of trim bits, while throwing away the old shit. They've redone the leather upholstery, and they went above and beyond to get the sound system working. We've installed an AccuAir suspension kit, specifically the E level. Everything goes up and down just the way you'd want. We've also spent some cash on the wheels. The rims cost me pretty much the same as the AccuAir kit, which is about $3,000. Right from the start, I'm gonna ask all the perfectionists to move away from their screens. This build is pretty controversial. Everybody's about the classic style BMW 7 Series. The classic builds are pretty much all over the place, as in the normal sort of BMWs on classic rims and not much else. As for my build, well, I had a different vision, which was pretty much what you're looking at. However, there still is quite a bit of work to do. I suggest we go over the details. I'll show you what's modified on this car. We spent so much time and effort on this thing. While I was away, there were a couple of occasions when I would come back for a short time to keep track of the small nuances and offer some feedback. You know what? Nothing beats a long wheelbase 7 Series. Back here you feel like a boss. You fold the seat away from you, grab your laptop. We haven't quite finished working on the seats just yet. We still have some work to do. We'll be installing something a bit more ritzy, with a tray and everything. The long wheelbase version is very comfortable. You've got fully adjustable back seats. The rear passenger has more than enough room in here to do some work. So yeah, you can actually have a three-way in here. Davidich, my man, this long wheelbase car is good for working out solutions not just with 2 people, but with 3. There's plenty of room to stretch out in here. To change your shoes while jumping, as they say. What makes this car valuable is the fact that it is pretty old. And there are very few left of them in China, and each year that number is decreasing. I suggest we take a look at what we've done up front. So here's my BMW. Old age is a bitch. The years have come down hard on this one. This has been grabbed so many times. I'll drive around and in the process figure out what to do with the cabin. I'll think of something. In terms of the color scheme, I guess I should do black on black. Obviously this interior would benefit from a bit of Alcantara. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Alright, I'm out. Let's be clear that the cabin layout is temporary. We kept hearing the word Alcantara all the time. In the end, we decided to give Alcantara the green light, and the boys have gone and refurnished the entire cabin. I have to say, they did their job pretty well. I mean, if you set out to do something, you should always put your best effort into it. They're gonna be organizing an event soon, right here in Hong Kong, and I really want to make it there, and buy the right amount of leather to do the entire cabin. Some perfectionists among my viewers are probably sitting there going, "What have you done, dude? Why did you even put that hideous Alcantara onto the steering wheel?" You gotta understand that developing something good means you have to experiment. That's just the way I roll. The more you experiment, the closer you get to where you want to be. You never know until you try. Here we have some carbon fiber trim. This is just lovely, isn't it? So I just remembered an old anecdote. A soldier walks into a minibus, and he steps on this old lady's foot. He turns her away and says, "Pardon me." And she's like, "Don't worry, Sonny, I've already spat on your back." My point is, don't be spitting on my back. Again, I had to give it a try. These bits were fabricated by a dedicated carbon fiber workshop. I mean these interior trim bits. As I see it, this was one of the better creative solutions that we implemented at that stage. Ever since I was a small kid, bear in mind that I was raised in an average post-Soviet family. Anyway, I've always dreamed about buying a car like this one and turning it into something very unique and authentic.
This is not a battle bag, but subliminal messages. Damn it, I'm the devil's bandit, the criminal fixes. With some motherfuckers with guns, women with princesses. Sending my pendulum swinging, bringing venom effortless. When you're a snake, like I am a snake, the giant is great. I ain't scared, so why would you wait for my iron to shake? My hand is steady, look at my gun, damn, it's heavy. And ready to blame into your fam already. My flim flam versus a 10 grand. Handstand, I like burning church, skin brand, your implant. Titties are falling out, I'm shitty and worn out. Only grim reaper in my city's a haunted house. So when you hear the door knock, now you see the warlock. You see him come before the trigger's pulled and you're shot. Before your liquor full of liquor and more shots. And you don't hear what I'm saying, no you don't, of course not.
For quite a while I've wanted a car on airbags with a quality American-made air suspension. I'm obviously referring to the AccuAir system, not coilovers. I specifically wanted to get myself an air suspension. The roads in China are almost perfect, and I love China for that. But there are a bunch of speed bumps. Although it is a good thing that there aren't too many cops. Here we have the remote, which allows you to adjust the ride height. You can set it up any way you like. Here I've got 3 individual presets. The first one is for driving. I've done some manual adjustments to get a comfortable ride height while keeping the suspension soft. In the one setting, the ground clearance is quite low actually, so when I get to a bumpy road, you know, one that's pretty beat up, where you'd be better off with a bit of extra clearance, that's when I choose the 2 setting. Now when I'm driving up to a speed bump, now that's when I press button number 3. The main drawback, of course, being that the airbags are completely full, which obviously makes the suspension super stiff. This is quite an intelligent self-adjusting air suspension system. It has its own electronic control unit, which, if the car were to lose balance, keeps everything in check by either inflating or deflating separate airbags. This helps the car stay level at all times. You can lift the nose individually, and the tail of the car as well. And now we get to the most interesting part of the build. I'm referring to the most powerful, juicy, and all-around awesome motor that you can put into this sort of car. Which is, of course, the 2.8 liter. What? Say that one more time. No need for him to say that again. He came without a knife. I say we shoot his ass. Please try to stay calm. If you've finished your tea, go get yourself some more. As a matter of fact, I am looking for a new motor. Chances are I'll go with a BMW engine, something meaty, so that Gramps over here can show everybody who's boss. The idea is to have a good-looking car inside and out, and install a motor with a solid power output. Which one, though? I'm not quite sure yet. I do have a few options, but I'm still a bit on the fence here. I'd actually appreciate it if you guys would share your thoughts in the comments. Let's come up with something good. Something that wouldn't require too much effort to swap into this chassis. Then again, I'll have to go into the wiring anyway, so we might as well make it difficult. If the final result is worth it, of course. And we end up with the only such YouTube build in China, or anywhere else for that matter. When I bought the car, it had been standing around for quite a while up to that moment. It had some engine problems, namely a really nasty misfire. When you gave it some gas, it would start suffocating at about 2000 RPM. It took us a full month to diagnose the problem. We replaced a ton of sensors, tested all the wiring, we removed the intake. The dealer even told us that we were looking at a throttle body replacement. By the way, the official dealers are a bunch of clowns. I'm obviously referring to the local BMW dealership in China. Anyway, they told us that the total repair cost would be at least $1,800. They were like, you'll need to install a new throttle body, a few other things, and the car might drive okay after that. And I'm like, maybe you should go to hell. $1,800 my ass. In any case, we were able to fix the problem. We literally had to reconnect one hose. This one over here, it wasn't properly connected. It was actually plumbed up to the intake manifold, while it was supposed to be routed to the PCV valve. And this tiny issue was driving me up the freaking wall. I mean, what the hell? But at least now we're good. Here's another controversial thing. It really is kind of weird installing Japanese rims onto a German car. They actually used to be gold-colored. The golden wheels left some people scratching their heads, while others had an overwhelming urge to stand next to them. Armenians, gypsies, and other folks who like gold-plated stuff would definitely approve. By the way, if there's anybody among our viewers of that particular background, give us a thumbs up. In any case, I've decided to change the color to black. I'm sure some of you would agree with that decision, while others would consider it to be a mistake, but we can always paint them gold again if we want to. Alright, so I ordered these custom work wheels straight from Japan, and I was waiting for them to arrive for about a month. They cost me about $3,400, including shipping. These are 20-inch rims, 9.5 up front and 10.5 in the back. I should probably replace the tires, since the right wheel has gone flat a few times, due to the rubber being a bit narrow. What else do I have in store for this car? Well, first off, I do want to replace the interior. I already showed you the sort of temporary solution. The interior... I actually would like to replace it. I want to go with something expansive and vintage, so that when you get inside the car, everything is exactly the way it should be. All the good stuff. By the way, guys, if there's anybody out there who'd like to buy the old interior, let me know. I'll give you a good deal. And I'm willing to ship it. The second and most important aspect of the entire build is, of course, the motor. Gotta make this car go fast. And that's gonna go well with a new exhaust. Okay, so interior, a new motor, exhaust system. We're also gonna install a quality stereo system. Car audio fans love themselves some hair tricks, but I'm not about that sort of thing. It would obviously be nice to have a bit of power, like a kilowatts worth of sound, so that I could crank up the volume and roll around so that everybody can hear me coming from around the corner. You might have noticed that we do tend to play some decent sets. We do our best for you guys. So in China, you can actually catch a rock to the face, or maybe those were flies which turned into metal due to the local air pollution, which have become rock hard, but are still able to fly around. Anyway, something cracked my fog light. As for the headlights, I can already hear you people telling me that I shouldn't go with the angel eyes. But that's a trademark BMW feature. It's pretty tough to find a quality item though. I might buy something from Taiwan. I guess I should keep my eyes open and see what China has to offer. So this is my hobby. I love BMWs. I also love old cars, modifying them. By the way, even though I haven't talked about them yet, I do have quite a few project cars under my belt, so I might go through some of my old material and publish some videos. I'm gonna be doing a lot to this car in the near future. Make sure you don't miss anything. We'll put out some reviews, and we're also gonna do some filming at a certain event. Right, so if you find all of this to be interesting, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and also leave some comments down below. It really means a lot to me, since your feedback is what's gonna help me make this car even better. Okay, restavrator signing off. Stay tuned as our journey continues. See you later.
Hurra, diese Welt geht unter und wir singen im Atomschutzbunker.